Okay guys, so we're getting into the solo sections now on All Right Now. I'm going to go through it and explain how each one of these phrases is played. So I will play a phrase and then I'll explain it to you and then we'll do the next phrase. And you guys can stop the loop point anytime you want and just go over each individual phrase or parts of the phrase. All right, so the first one is going to be played at the 14th fret of the 3rd string and the 13th fret of the 2nd string. And we're actually going to bend that 13 down just a little bit for a quarter bend. So it's going to be... So I'm just going to go 14, 13 3 times, then 14, 15, 13, ending with 14, 14, and the second string 13th fret. So slowly it's... We're going to do a full bend and return on the 15, pulling off to the 13 and back to 15, then 13, and then 2 14s. So really follow along on your tab sheet. Make sure you have that so it's... Using my middle finger there for the 14, index finger for the 13, and ring finger for the 15. So it's... Now you're really reaching over that first string a lot, and you can get some noise from that. So what I'm doing on my picking hand, I'm just curling my fingers around and just touching the first string, so it's going to stay quiet. I'm not going to get any sound out of that, so it's a little tricky. You just kind of reach over here. Just don't do a lot of moving around on that string, but just touch it. It'll stay quiet all day. All right, so that's the first phrase. Again, and obviously it only takes a few seconds for that phrase to go by at standard speed, so you'll want to definitely slow this down to learn it. All right, we're going to look at the next phrase. Okay guys, so now the next phrase here is very similar to the first phrase, but it's not identical. So if you look at your tab sheets here, we're still going to start off with that 14-13 motif. It goes... But then we're going to go... So a lot more 14-13 interactions. A little bit different, so make sure you're looking at the tab sheet there. So it's... Then we got the bend again. Come up 17. And then we're going to go 13 and 14. And then... So it goes... Now that 17 bend there, when I go up to the 17th fret on the 2nd string, I am doing a 1.5 bend. So that's going to be 3 frets. So if you're not sure what that'll sound like, just go up 3 frets. So we're at the 17, we go 18, 19, 20, 20th fret on your 2nd string. There's my target. And it's that far. It's really, really up there. All right, so again, this whole thing goes... Make sure when you're doing those bends that your right hand is laying on some of these bass strings, because as you push those strings over, you'll bang into them and you get some of that. So we don't want that. I'm keeping that quiet with my right hand. All right, so that was phrase 2. So you can learn that and then put it together with phrase 1. Again, that's a little complicated here because both the phrases are similar but not exactly the same. So make sure you pay attention to the details. Next up, a totally different section of the solo. Alright guys, so what we're doing there is we're doing a lot of long sustaining notes, vibrato, and a lot of slides. Alright, it's totally different character than the first part of the solo. Starts off on the 2nd fret on your 3rd string, and vibrato, if you don't know what vibrato is, we'll have a link to it in the section below here. I've got a video on vibrato and what that is, but it's basically just vibrating that note like this. If you're watching the videos of him playing it, while he does tend to vary his solo somewhat. This section is pretty much always like this. All right, so we're just going to vibrato the 2nd fret, the A note on the 3rd string. And then we're going to slide to the 4, and then 2 to 4 again, and then 4 to 2. So it's, and then we're going to do that again. This time, he's just letting that 2 sustain from being previously hit, and then he'll slide up again. Again, 2 to 4 on that 3rd string there, so the whole thing is. Now we move up to the 5th fret on the 2nd string, to the 7th, and back and forth. So just a nice slow character here, ending it with sliding to the 4th fret on your 3rd string, 5th fret on the 1st string, and then we're going to take that 4 on the 3rd string, bending, ending on 2, and then sliding up to the 10th fret on your 2nd string. Make sure you use your middle finger on that 10th fret from the top. Yes, that is an awesome piece. All right, set loop points here, learn that section. Next piece coming up, again, totally different. As you can see, this part is totally different than anything I've played so far in this song. We're going to be doing what's called a chicken picking riff. If you remember, we did the slide to the 10th fret on the last phrase. We ended with my middle finger on the 2nd string. So that leaves me to put my 1st finger on the 9th fret of the 3rd string, and I'll be hammering on from 9 to 11 on that 3rd string, and then using my middle finger to on my right hand to pluck the 2nd string, that chicken picking part, so it pops a little bit. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to be basically playing this 5 times, hammer on from 9 to 11, and then 10. Ending with a whole step bend, full step bend on your 2nd string 12. So together it's. And we repeat it. So the whole thing is. Now, you're definitely going to need to practice this, so set your loop points here. You can play it slow over and over again. Just over and over. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll practice things up to a faster pace than I'll need for the song, and then when I'm playing the song I can slow it down. It's much easier for me. So we're just going to... So that's that section. We do that exactly the same both times. Now at the end of that, we're going to start doing a bend on the 12 and return. 10th fret on the 2nd string, 11th fret on the 3rd, and then vibrato again on the 10th fret on the 2nd string. So it's almost a crying, or almost sounds like just a descending, but he is bending. So the up shift in the note is much faster than the release. The release is much slower. So all right, so practice this. I would do 2 loop points here. One for this, and the other one for the... And then sew those together and add them to all the phrases up to this point. All right, more coming up. Okay guys, I hope you're hanging in there. I know this is a long solo. Lots of stuff can be learned from playing this. Take it in sections. You don't have to work on all this in 1 day or 2 days. Give yourself a few weeks on it. This riff is probably the hardest riff because it's very high up on the guitar, particularly if you're playing a Les Paul like I am, because the frets are very, very close together. We're going to be playing in the 17th fret range, which is basically the A section. And we're going to be holding the 17th fret down of the first and second strings. And what I'm going to be doing is while I'm holding those, I'm going to do a hammer-on from 17 to 20 on the second string, while then I'm going to play the first string at the 17th fret. I am not chicken picking this, I'm actually using my pick, so it's going to be like this. Then we end with a bend on the 20th fret of the second string. So it's you have to be careful when you're doing this, when you're hammering down your ring finger on that 20th fret, it'll want to lay on that first string, but we need to be able to hit that 17th on the first string, so you have to make sure you're up and clear from that. So it's I would definitely set loop points here, slow and repetitive until you get that down. Now, moving on from that, after we do the 20th fret full bend, we're going to go 17 on the first string and 17 on the second string, then a full bend on the 20th fret of the first string and release, and then 17 to 20 on that string, and then back to the 20th fret second string full bend, 17 first string, 20th full bend on the second. So that part goes. So again, it's, all right, so let's go through this a little quicker. It's going to go. Again, sometimes I get in with my middle finger for the bend on the second string. A little bit stronger finger, so a little bit easier to bend. So again, that's starting with the initial bend. And then a little bit hard to play that. Just going to have to rehearse it at a slow tempo until you get it right. So again, one more time, it's. And then we're going to go back into the 17-20 riff. We're going to start with, this time with just a 17 on the first string, and then more hammer-ons. We'll do 5 of them. Again, the 20th bend on your second string. I pick it once it's up, so you have 2 picks on that particular note. And then 17 on the first string, 17 on the second string, and then this time 2 full bends on the 20th fret of the first string. And then 20, pull off 17, back to 20 on the first string, and then full bend on the 20 on the second. Finally ending with the 17th fret on the first string, 20th fret on the second, and then full bend, then 19, 17. And that's the end of the solo. All right, so lots of stuff here. You need to just take it one piece at a time, slow this playback down, set looping functions, use your tablature. This really represents the way he played it on the studio version. If you watch live versions, he kind of ad-libbed a little bit. You'll see changes in this. But this is the one that everybody's heard. So check it out. Comments in the section below. We're going to have links to videos below this. And make sure you check out the vibrato video so you understand how to do vibrato, because Kossoff was all about his vibratos. Let us know what you think about this video or any others. I hope you like the song.